They call this place assisted living, which is a beautiful phrase for, we will keep your body running while your identity slowly gets reassigned. The room knows my name because it's printed on a plastic label next to the door. The staff knows my name because it's in a chart. But nobody here knows the name I used to be called by the man who slept next to me for 25 years. And I've learned, very quickly, that the name he called me is not welcome currency here. Every morning I wake up to the sound of wheels, carts, chairs, oxygen tanks. Everything in this building moves except the memories. The memories don't roll. They don't glide. They sit at the edge of my bed like debt. Tragedy is loud. This isn't tragedy. This is erosion. You don't lose yourself all at once. You lose yourself in polite smiles and harmless questions. Good morning, sir. Any family visiting today? Do you have a wife? And you decide, before you even brush your teeth, how much of your life you're willing to risk for the right pronoun. The day I arrived, they handed me a clipboard like it was communion. Name, date of birth, emergency contact, primary caregiver, spouse. Spouse? I stared at that line like it was a trap door. The young woman at the desk, nice smile, bright nails, said, "You can put your wife here." I said, "My husband," and her smile didn't disappear. It just tightened, like a rubber band around a truth. "Oh," she said. "Okay, well, we don't see that too often." That sentence sounds innocent, doesn't it? But what it meant was, you are now a category I am not trained to handle. Please don't make me feel unprepared. Then she leaned in, lowered her voice, and said, like she was doing me a favor, "Some of our residents are older-fashioned, so just be mindful, okay? Be mindful." Translation: be smaller. And right there, in the lobby, with my suitcase and my arthritis and my grief still wet on me, I felt the hinge of the closet creak open behind my back. Not because I was ashamed, because I was being advised, politely, to survive. I came out at 45, which in gay years is basically carbon dating, and in Christian years is, we truly thought you would take this to the grave. I grew up in a home where love came with conditions and God came with footnotes. The kind of faith that teaches you to apologize to heaven before you've done anything wrong, just in case the neighbors are watching. So I married a woman. I tried to become the man everyone clapped for at church. I learned to smile in family photos where my eyes looked like they were asking permission to exist. By 45, I realized something. God had never been the one furious at me. I was just excellent at renting fury from other people and paying interest. When I finally said it out loud, it didn't feel like liberation. It felt like unemployment. I had to quit the life I knew without having another one lined up. No pension, no support group, just the terrifying freedom of truth. And then, I met him. He had a laugh that made you feel forgiven, not by God, by life. And for the first time, I wasn't trying to be a good man. I was just trying to be a real one. We were together for 25 years. That's longer than some countries last. People think queer love is dramatic. Ours was aggressively boring, and that was the miracle. Grocery lists, fights about dishes, arguments about the thermostat like it was foreign policy. He called me beautiful when I was sick. I called him handsome when he was tired. We aged without permission. We went to weddings and sat at tables where people asked, "So, are you two friends?" And we smiled the way you smile when you've survived worse things than awkward questions. Sometimes we held hands in public like we were committing a small crime. Not because we were afraid, because we were practical, because we knew what it cost to be visible in the wrong zip code. But at home we were loud with love, the radical kind of loud, a kitchen, a couch, 2 toothbrushes, a man who knew when to leave me alone and when to hold my hand without asking for reasons. This is what I waited for my whole life. Not fireworks, a place to put my keys, a person to come back to. Cancer doesn't take people the way storms do. It takes them the way rust does. Slowly, quietly, without apology. When he died, the house didn't change. The walls stayed, the couch stayed, the ghost of his coffee cup stayed. What left was the witness. When you lose the person who knew your whole story, you don't just lose love. You lose the only archive of who you were brave enough to become. People brought casseroles. They brought sympathy. They brought prayers. Some of them still sounded like they were trying to fix me. No one brought him back. And grief? Grief is a private religion. There are no hymns for the empty side of the bed. There is only the sound of a home that no longer has a reason to be warm. Friends age, friends get tired, friends die. Family members remember you selectively, like you're a paragraph they skip. Eventually, I had to admit I needed help. Needing help is not the same as being helpless. But the paperwork treats you like it is. These places are designed around a certain blueprint. Wife, children, grandchildren, a straight line from birth to death, my life curved, and curves confuse institutions. There is no checkbox for widower, but the widow was a man. There is no section titled, "Who will defend you when the staff doesn't like what you are?" So I arrived with my suitcase and my history and realized I was moving into a building where my love story would have to become a rumor. And rumors are dangerous. I learned quickly what not to say. I learned which pronouns to avoid. I learned how to answer questions about my life in a way that sounded neutral, unremarkable, safe. Any family? Yes. Leave it there. Don't explain. Were you married? Yes. Don't specify. What did your wife pass from? And that's when your heart does a small backflip, because the truth is standing right there like a door you're not sure you can open. So sometimes I say, she died of cancer. Yes, I use she. Do you know what it feels like to bury your husband twice? Once in the ground, and once in conversation? I don't hide because I hate myself. I hide because I like being treated gently. I hide because I enjoy not being mocked by people who control my medication schedule. I hide because I've seen what happens to residents who become difficult. Freedom is wonderful when you are strong. When you are old, freedom becomes a negotiation. So I negotiate with silence. It's very polite, very clean, and very lonely. There's a man down the hall, Ray. Ray used to be a boxer, back when his hands still obeyed him. Ray flirts with the nurses loudly, like it's his job. Nobody tells him to be mindful. Nobody warns him the residents are older-fashioned. They laugh. They call him a rascal. His straightness is treated like charm. One afternoon in the common room, I let my guard slip. A staff member asked about my photo, one I keep turned slightly inward on the nightstand, like a secret trying to behave. "Is that your brother?" she asked. Brother, not friend, not roommate, brother. And I said, too softly to undo it, "No, that was my husband." She blinked, then said, "Oh." And the room did that thing rooms do when they decide what kind of person you are. A couple of residents looked up. One of them smirked like he had just found a weakness. I've become very good at disappearing politely. It's practically a skill set. Step 1, smile. Step 2, say thank you. Step 3, don't mention the man you loved like oxygen. Step 4, become an agreeable ghost. If there were medals for emotional invisibility, I'd have a whole drawer by now. They give out bingo prizes here. Nobody gives out awards for surviving yourself. Sometimes I want to announce it over the intercom. Attention residents. Tonight's special event is me pretending my entire life wasn't real. But the intercom is reserved for dinner announcements and emergency drills. Apparently, existential emergencies are BYO. The staff tells us, be yourself, which is adorable. Like telling a fish, be yourself, and then putting it in a birdcage. So yes, I am myself, quietly, I am myself, in parentheses. Let me be clear. There are kind people here. There are nurses who hold my hand when my blood pressure spikes. There are aides who speak to me like I'm still a person with adult dignity. But kindness does not cancel design. Design is what decides what the questions are. Design is what decides whose lives are assumed normal. Design is what decides whether my grief is legible. The system assumes your spouse was opposite sex. Your children will advocate for you. Your family story fits inside their paperwork. And when you don't fit, you become an inconvenience. Not in a dramatic way, in a slow way, in a we don't know what to do with that way. And that kind of not knowing can become dangerous when you depend on people to bathe you. No one plans for this part. We plan for weddings, for careers, for retirement vacations with pictures of smiling couples. We don't plan for needing help in a world that only knows how to help certain kinds of people. If I could speak to my younger self, I'd tell him, save money for your dignity. Independence in old age is not luxury. It's survival. Being able to stay in your own home is not about comfort. It's about keeping your name. It's about being able to put a photo on your nightstand without calculating risk. It's about not having to exchange your truth for your medication, because that's what this is, a trade. And the older you get, the less bargaining power you have. Sometimes I imagine places built for men like me, spaces where the staff doesn't whisper, be mindful, like it's a survival tip. Places where husband isn't a surprise, where grief doesn't have to be edited, where no one calls your love your brother. I don't even know if that's realistic, but the fact that it sounds unrealistic should tell you something. We are unprepared to imagine queer people aging with dignity. We made room for coming out. We forgot to make room for staying out. I am not ashamed. I am careful. There's a difference. The last closet doesn't look like secrecy. It looks like strategy. It looks like a photo turned face down. It looks like a sentence cut in half. It looks like a man choosing the weather as a topic because the truth feels too expensive. And maybe one day someone will build a world where old men don't have to bargain with silence to be treated gently. Maybe one day, the last closet will finally be demolished, not by pride parades, but by policy, training, and spaces designed with us in mind. Until then, I keep my history folded neatly inside me, not because I don't love who I was, but because I still want to be safe tomorrow morning, when the wheels start moving again.